What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Doubling Down with Colin and Vinny. This right here on the Trust the Profits YouTube page. Vinny, we get another winner. That's a couple weeks in a row now. Now, where did you spend all your big winnings from last week's $9 daily double that we hit?
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, we hit it. We hit it, and it was on a small ticket. I'll take it. Uh, Not really enough to afford much yet, so hoping to hit another one this weekend, and hopefully I can go buy myself lunch or something.
Absolutely. You see our 2025 results right there. I'm up to 18.29. Vinny, you're down 6 cents. So when you go through 9 months of doing daily doubles, that's a positive.
The penny, the penny breakage is killing me here.
It is. It is. That's right. They've added it to Churchill in New York, and now it can either make you
Yep,
look great or make you look like you're down 6 cents. But we'll make that up. We'll make
yep.
that up this week, and that's all good. Don't forget, you can play along with us. Head on over to doublingdown.glide.page. Enter your daily double. You can scan the QR code to find it. This week we got some doubling down swag. Vinny saw me just before the show finishing up a really nice new edition of a hat that's coming out that actually matches our logo colors perfectly. But Vinny, next month, the October contest has been sponsored by Horse Tourneys. So I'm really excited to announce that we are going to have some Horse Tourney credit on the line for the October contest here on Trust the Profits Doubling Down. What do you think, Vinny? We got $100 to give away. We're going to do first place $50. Should we do second place 50, or should we split it up and have a second and third place winner?
I think we should do second and third place winner. I feel like third place deserves something. So I think splitting it up for the top three makes the most sense. Definitely play along though. It should be fun. We got the Breeders' Cup next month. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be that'll be the middle week, the second to last week. I
We'll
think.
make that the last week.
Yeah. Can we make that the last week? Yeah, I think we can.
I think it's
So yeah,
Halloween. Halloween.
Breeders. Yep. So Breeders' Cup's gonna be a part of it. So yeah, play along.
Absolutely free to play with us. Always free to play. Scan that QR code. Jump on in. There's also, if you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description. For those of you watching on Nessa Nation, what we do is put together daily double tickets. We've been pretty lucky over the last few weeks. We're going to head back to Churchill Downs, race 9 and 10. Race 9 is an allowance optional claimer going a mile and is 16th on the dirt. For 3-year-olds and up, it gets a class rating of a 99. I went through the field and it took me a while as I was going through one by one, going not for me, not for me, not for me, until I finally found my winner, which we ended up agreeing on. I think we had the same horse on top. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I did the same thing. There were a couple horses early on that I was like, like if I really have to. And then I got to the number 9 perfect shot, and I was like, all right, this is my horse here. Uh, Coming off back-to-back wins, has a for I like this running style at Churchill where like kind of likes to be kind of forwardly placed but doesn't necessarily need the lead. Uh, Likes Churchill Downs. Has run 5 times here, two firsts, 2 seconds, which is you always like to see. Also has 2 wins at the distance, which is something that looking through this field, a lot of this field seemed to not really like this distance or not have a ton of success. So that's where I landed here. Was with the number 9 perfect shot.
Yeah, I completely agreed with your comments. Tyler Gaffleone's aboard with Steve Asmussen, your trainer. Gunrunner on top, going to be sitting just off the pace, I think, and be able to strike lately in the speed figures. 93 there last time out, August 21st at Saratoga, going a mile, but has that victory, as you mentioned, at Churchill. Everything you said is basically exactly what I had thought about perfect shot, and almost was a single for me, to be honest. I think you could probably make a case he's a single in this field. I just worry,
Yep.
like, he's a single in the field when you're comparing him to other horses, but then when you look at perfect shot, it's like, well, is that really going to be my single? He's not the kind of horse that you totally feel comfortable walking into with a single, right?
Yeah, that was kind of my feeling too. It's like, at this class level, like rattling off multiple wins in a row is usually like it's not super common. Usually when they rattle off a couple wins in a row, they jump up to like a stakes or something like that. So 3 allowance wins in a row would kind of be like, all right, like this horse would probably go to stakes company next. But yeah, they're not stakes horses for a reason. Usually it's because they're either not that great or they're not consistent. And you look beyond, you look at his after his last two races, you go 3-4 back. You look at the other races this year, and third by 6, fourth by 9, third by 11. Hopefully the 2 wins in a row means that he's finally put the pieces together and he really is the one to beat. But yeah, there was definitely that worry here, and I thought I could get away with going kind of short in the next leg, so I used another one here. What about you?
Yeah, I'll give a couple notes. I did use one more. The number 6, non-violence. I was wondering if the distance against tougher horses might be too much for this horse to ask. The number 7, I was thinking that this is maybe more of a turf or a synthetic horse, as races on the dirt aren't really that impressive. Number 8 is the Argentinian horse. Vinny, here's some RaceLens angles that pop up. I don't even have to handicap, and I see an angle that I put in there is when the horse ran last time at Kentucky Downs. They're usually a fade for me. You can see that the negative 46% ROI and the bright red numbers tend to back that up for me. The one thing that you might take out of that last race is he didn't really run much. Hated it, didn't have to run, didn't put a lot of effort into that race. So that's usually the angle why I don't like the horses coming back, because it takes so much out of them over that Kentucky Downs track. But maybe this horse, who last time prior won over the Indiana track on wire to wire, maybe you don't have to be concerned as much about that angle. I liked the 10. I know I'll let you talk about the 10 with IRAD. That was almost where I was going to go. And then before we started doing the show, I took another glance through just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Vinny, with RaceLens, we've talked about how you can quickly highlight purses of races, and it can quickly show me pretty quickly, like, is a horse going to fit, at least just looking at the money, right? And I know that that's not a perfect comparison. But you can see on this number 11 with a nice morning line of 10-1 for Rusty Arnold with Louis Saez aboard. 4 races in a row that are highlighted. I'll quickly start going through the fields. You have a couple in here. The 4 Just My Heels is actually pretty, they're all highlighted as well, but not as competitive races. So number 11 at 10-1 was one that I wrote down. I thought that those last 4 races, all at the grade 3 level, were nice. I think you see enough in here for me to be attracted to is at least the passing of horses. Going back to that allowance optional claimer at Keeneland, coming from off the pace, winning with Jose aboard. The race with Saez, 7th in the first call, finishes 4th. 10th, 21 lengths behind, finishes 6th. So I see some muddied up past performances here. The other thing, and I have to change my PP so that you can see all of his races, so let me do that real quick on RaceLens. Vinny, what I ended up circling on the number 11, let's look at the races where this horse has Lasix. Because if you do that, you get Louis Saez aboard. Here's 2 victories. Favorite one day, 5-1 the other. Let's find the next race where he's on Lasix. Here it is. You can see that with the big bolded L. There's a win for Jose Ortiz. So the last 3 times that this horse has won have all been on Lasix. Well, guess what the change is here for today, Vinny? We'll highlight it right here for you. Change, putting back on Lasix. This is an arrogant horse. So when you talked about wanting to have the horses that have gone the distance, is a mile in the 16th not going to be a problem for this horse? And also has a win over the Churchill Downs track. So when I put all those together, I wanted to include the 10 as well. But when I saw 3-1 and then 7-2, and then knowing the next race you got horses that are all kind of short priced anyways, I decided to use the strategy of throwing in Neon Icon at a nice healthy 10-1. Maybe this horse can sit nicely, appreciate the distance, and attack to get home. Where you're going to use the number 10 as your other horse?
Yeah, I actually almost used Neon Icon.
Oh, really? Every time you say this, yeah, we have a runner.
I really I really did. My original ticket, I was 3x2, and then I figured that I was going to be the odds were going to be too short because I handicap without morning lines. So
I think you should add them.
This is the first. Yeah, this is the first time. This is the first time I'm seeing the morning line. 10-1. I kind of wish I added.
You want to add him?
I agree with you. You
want to add him?
No, nope. I'm gonna stick with what I did.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with what I did. If he beats me, he beats me. I do like that horse. This is literally the last horse off my ticket. Horse has been running against much better, and now you're dropping back down in class. I mean, yes, you look at the speed figures; they're not great, but you look at 2 back lost to Jin Jin, 3 back lost to Dazzling Move, who's been a very solid runner. Hasn't really won at the big stakes that she's run in, but she's been right there. Loved was great. Tarifa had her moment. Like, these are pinup, and last race against pinup Betty. Like, this horse is losing to like actual stakes horses. So this is definitely a class drop, which is why I liked it. But yeah, I did land on the number 10. More for consistency. I don't love that this horse is like only has 1 win out of 9 tries at the distance. Does have 5 seconds, which is nice. Um, does have 1 win in 6 tries at Churchill. But like, you go through this horse's past performances, first, second, fourth, second. Like, this horse is just always right there. I was kind of hoping I would get like around like 4-1 on a horse like this. Might be a better horse for exactas, in reality. But the addition of Irad, he kind of seems to bring the best out of horses on days like this. So I was just like, you know what? I'll give this horse the nod. Wasn't really expecting this horse to be a super short price, so I am hoping, I will get around that 4-1 price. But yeah, I can see why at a short price you wouldn't use this one.
How about on the inside, the number 3 Pegali was kind of the other one that I was a little bit concerned of. Brian Hernandez had ridden this horse last time out at Kentucky Downs. Obviously, our best wishes out to Brian Hernandez, who's recovering from a spill. Any interest in a horse like that?
I kind like a little bit. I don't know. I feel like this horse is like the classic example of like what I started with earlier, that like they're not stakes horses because they're not consistent. And like, I know that, like, ran in the grade 2 against Vava. Like, this horse wasn't gonna beat Vava. Lost the stakes against Impel. Okay. Like, Impel's okay. She's not great. Alpine Princess ran second for me 2 weekends ago. Royal Spa's on there, 5 back as a second place finish. But like, I feel like her numbers are just all over the board. And like, sure, maybe on her best day she's good enough, but at a short like at what I assumed was going to be a short price because of the class she was keeping, it just wasn't for me. This seems like a total like boomer bust type horse. Either this horse, I feel like either she wins or she is running like 5th or 6th. So for that reason, I left her off my double.
You can still swing over to dgen-design.com. Use promo code double for 10% off. They still have our doubling down gear that we've teamed up on, so go check that out. We're going to take a quick break on Nessa Nation. Stick right here on Trust the Profits to continue the second leg of our daily double. All right, Vinny, the second leg of that daily double is the Lukas Classic Stakes, grade 2 for 3-year-olds and up. We get the return of your Kentucky Derby winner from 2 years ago, Mystic Dan. You get some names that people will recognize: Disarm, Banishing. I thought it was a nice little field that they put together here. Going 1 1/8 gets a class rating of 117. Where are you thinking on top?
Yeah, I landed on Mystic Dan on top, and I honestly can't believe that. I originally saw the field and I was like, all right, like, cool. I'm gonna be like, I've never once played Mystic Dan. I just think he makes the most sense here. The turf race, he ran well in that turf race. He finished 4th behind Fort Washington, who's had a great year on the turf. Race before that, he loses the mind. He lost the mind frame. Sierra Leone, who then came back to win First Mission. Like, that wasn't a bad race. His last win was here, where he beat Antiquarian and Post Time. Both have had very solid years. I don't know. I feel like the whole plan with Mystic Dan for McPeak all year has been to get this horse to the Breeders' Cup, and he's taken has it been the most traditional path? No, but like, I think I feel like the horse is running better than he was earlier this year, so I'm fully expecting a big effort from Mystic Dan.
3 for 5 at Churchill certainly stands out too, right? I mean, Churchill's kind of a
Yeah,
track
that
where
helps.
you like the horses that have had success over there, so that's going to be nice. 5-2. Um, Brian Hernandez is listed as the jockey. I wouldn't expect him to be aboard.
No, he will not. Don't I can't recall if at the time of filming this they've named another jockey on him yet, but yeah, I'm obviously it's not going to be Brian, but even without Brian, I just think this horse is ready.
You can see the green angle we have here from RaceLens. We were talking about this prior to the show, reading a book on handicapping technical analysis angles. And they talked about horses going from turf to dirt who show early speed on the turf, but then finish fourth or worst. Okay, Vinny? So we follow me. We're going turf to dirt. And the horse has had a little bit of success on the dirt in the past. And most specifically at some of these bigger tracks, such as Belmont, Churchill, and Santa Anita. So I put this angle into RaceLens and it spits back the data for me. A healthy 70% ROI, 21% win percentage. But I feel like, Vinny, that's an angle that is for those sneaky horses that try turf and maybe have had success in the
Yeah.
dirt in the past. Not your Kentucky Derby winner who's going off at 5-2. So tread lightly, but I saw that's the first time since I've put this angle in over the last couple of weeks that it pops up. And not only does it pop up for Mystic Dan, it actually also popped up for Prince of Power, who's a horse that had shown some early speed in that turf race last time out at Kentucky Downs. Again, we're talking about Kentucky Downs. I think this race might have taken a little bit more out of Prince of Power. Comes in here at 30-1. I tried to get there, but I just couldn't on this particular one. And I tried. I agree with you with everything you said with Mystic Dan. I can't fault you for putting him on your ticket. And when I handicapped, I thought for sure he'd be on mine. You said it's the first time you're using him. I've had him at least a few times to get me home, most notably in that Blame Stakes, which we had here on Doubling Down, if I remember correctly. I was right that day, and you had Antiquarian in that race.
Yep.
So I went through, and well, who should I start with? I'm going to start with the number 2 Hit Show.
Oh.
Florent Giroux, Brad Cox. My theory in handicapping this race was I wanted to land on some of the older horses with the proven ability at 1 1/8 with figs that fit. So obviously we all know that Mystic Dan had success at the distance, winning the Kentucky Derby at Churchill, has that 1 1/8 victory at Churchill in the Blame. I don't put much stock in the last race out for Hit Show, but this horse shows up. I mean, if he shows up and he shows up with Florent Giroux, to come out of that Dubai World Cup, come back, I can draw a line through that race because you know what I feel about horses on those long travels coming back in those first races back. And I would say that last time out, the field wasn't much. I mean, he didn't need to do a ton to beat that field. He comes back in Brad Cox's sweet spot. 45 to 60 days off the layoff is where Brad Cox absolutely just crushes. And that is actually the angle that pops up here for Hit Show. 7.7 of a success score. That is really high when it comes to RaceLens. 2 for 6 at Churchill. 4 for 10 at the distance. So I talked about this 1 1/8 distance. Hit Show for me is going to be coming late in closing, and I want him on my ticket. What are your thoughts on Hit Show?
I used one. I almost used him. I know he's 4 for 10 at the distance. I personally think he wants longer. He is a horse that he's the horse that I wish that the Breeders' Cup does not out west this year, because if this race was at like Churchill or if the Classic was at like Churchill or Kentucky, he's like a horse that will be 20-1. That makes a ton of sense because you know he'll get an honest pace and he loves the close. I just feel like every time he stepped like at 1 1/8 in like races like this with like other considerably like top horses, he runs like third or fourth. That's kind of my feeling on him and why I left him off. Would it surprise me? No. I like Hit Show. I'm I'm hoping I would love to bet him at a mile and a quarter. Especially, I mean, he's probably like the least talked about Dubai World Cup winner in
Mm.
forever. Like everybody forgets he won. He won, and it's like okay, but yeah, he the last race, like you said, at Mountaineer, that was a whatever field. But yeah, I agree with you. I can't fault you for using him.
You used another disarm.
Yeah, I went with Disarm kind of for the same reason I think like you're using Hit Show. He's another horse. You just kind of always like he kind of always shows up, but I also think like this is just a like enough of a class relief for him that he's got a chance to run big again. I mean the Gold Cup, sure, that was a weird race. That had the whole incident. I forget who I it's escaping me who what happened. Oh, mind frame through
Or
Irad
Irad.
after somebody, yeah,
Yep.
after Kendrick cut him, yeah. So like that had that whole thing. Yeah, he didn't run well after that, but that the race was kind of weird. So I'm gonna just draw a line through that. Um, the race before though, the Whitney, he ran huge. He ran like he was almost 50 to 1, 46 to 1, and he ran a really good third.
Mm.
And like Highland Falls ran a big race. Sierra Leone obviously won, but he ran a big race there. And like I think if he improves off that race, I think he fits here. And that was kind of why I decided to use him. He gets Irad today, which is a change, a good change in my opinion. As much as like Rosario kind of fits horses like this, I'm fine with Irad taking over. So I thought he was worth a nod. I didn't think he was going to be super low odds either. So that's where I landed on my second as my second horse here.
My note was, and of course you can do some of that of who he was against, but he doesn't have a win over a mile and a 16th the last 2 years. And when I talked about my
Yeah.
handicap, ended up being, let's look at the older horses that I really don't fear coming into this mile and eighth distance. I saw your little face when you thought that I was gonna put Rattle
Oh
and
my
Roll
God!
as
If
my
you use
second
if
tick.
you used I thought you were using Rattle and
I
Roll, and I was
am.
just like I
I am.
had to just log out.
I am. So Rattle
Oh
and
my
Roll is going to
God.
be my second choice.
Oh my God.
Here we go,
I
Vinny.
I
Stick with me. Stick with me. Last time,
I don't
Rattle
even
and
want to.
Roll. You can try. You can try. We'll see what we can do here, all right? Let's
Oh,
go back to last year. Look at these workouts at Churchill Downs. November 18th, 59, my 5 furlongs. Comes back 4 furlongs, 47 seconds. Then goes out and wins the the Clark, right? Oh, my page just got
yeah.
backed up here. Comes back and wins the Clark Stakes after those workouts at a nice healthy 5 to 1 against Hit Show. They send them overseas. You know how I feel about them coming back. But that last time was in April, the Dubai World Cup, in that race finishing 8th to Hit Show for Kenny McPeak. Well, look at these works at Churchill Downs recently, Vinny. September 6th, 36, 3 furlongs. Comes back September 13th, 3 furlongs, 35. Comes back 4 furlongs, 46 and 8. A couple bullets mixed in there. This horse is 4 for 9 at Churchill, 3 for 9 at the distance. Obviously, no Brian Hernandez. You know how I feel about Julian Leperoux. So for me, this is a stretch. I hope that 5 to 1 clicks a little bit higher. But I'm going to take a shot. I don't like this horse, but I like him today, and I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah, I just feel like they sent him overseas. He got a new they tried the overseas route with him, and he just wasn't good. He won that grade 3 that was just like not a that grade 3 over there is like a very dressed up claiming race that he won. That is bad. And then he ran better than I thought he would in the Saudi Cup, and he was dreadful in the Dubai World Cup. I don't know. I feel like this is a horse I can just against weak fields. I feel like he makes a ton of sense against anybody with quality. I just can never get there. So, yeah, good. If he wins, I'll eat my words. But I can't, especially off this giant layoff. I mean, I get the works are nice, but not for me.
I don't think RaceLens agrees with me, as it has Rattle and Roll quite far behind the field. So I think you're okay. Like I said, this is a little bit of a stretch for me. I'm not going to try to convince too many, but you're not going to talk me. RaceLens has this horse maybe a 10-1. It'll pay nice if we can combine it with Neon in the race previously.
Yeah, and we both surprised neither of us used banishing. Actually, I guess I'm not really surprised. I figured he would be the favorite.
Yeah,
It's 3-1, so morning line second choice. I just hate that he's 1-for-8 at Churchill, and I feel like his wins are again one of those horses that he wins races when the big names don't show up, and yes, he runs good, but he always seems those are his seconds, and those are where his seconds happen. Even you can go back all the way there to the Blame Stakes where he finished 5th behind Mystic Dam.
what I did, Vinny, was look at how successful this horse is when he's on the inside post. All of his good races are when he's 2, 3, 1, all the way on the inside. Now he's all the way on the outside, and I put down distance ? For me particularly. Yeah. He does have a victory, and he's also 1-for-7 and 1-for-7 in class and speed. So I know I'm flirting with danger, and I like this horse a lot. Tyler's back aboard, who's won with him the last 2 times. I got a hunch. With Rattle and Roll, so we're going to go with it. And we'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Here's my ticket. I'm going to go 9-11 with the 2-3. It'll cost you $4. Vinny's also going to go 9-10 with the 5-6. Thanks so much for watching. Like and comment below. And good luck to all of you this weekend.